Welcome to another episode of Hooked Up Fishing, and I'll be getting back with you in just a minute because I am on my way to the George R. Brown Convention Center in a minute. First I got to stop by Mom's and take her a baked fish. As I was telling you guys, I'm going to be hosting at the George R. Brown Convention Center, and I will have some of the decals. So the decals will be $5, guys, and the 3 men on the logo, as you all know, represent the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, because when you're hooked up with those three, you can be no more hooked up than that. Okay, so I will have some of my decals, and I will have some of my personal hand ties, and I will be tying some hand ties there while at the George R. Brown. So Hooked Up Fishing and Hard Hitter about to run to the George R. Brown. Bye, Booger Bear. You're on there. Anyway, I will get back with you guys later. As like I was telling you guys, some big things are coming and God is blessing me with them, and I am going to honor and respect that. So stop by my mom's, take her some baked crappie and baked flounder, and then get ready to meet Alan at the George R. Brown and get this show on the road, man. Stay tuned. Hooked Up Fishing at Hard Hitter. Never quitter. I won't stop till things get bigger. Later. And thanks, guys. Thanks so much for all of the subscriptions, all of the likes, and every comment I try to answer. And once again, I don't know why, but sometimes when you reply or make a comment on an old video, it doesn't alert me. I have to know that that comment has been made, or either when I'm thumbing through some of my old videos, I'll see that somebody commented. And so I don't know why it's like that. It doesn't alert me on comments on old videos. Some of you guys that are more knowledgeable about that, maybe you can let me know. But that's what's going on, man. I got all my shirts in the cleaners. Hopefully they'll be out at 5 tomorrow, so I'm kind of in just rugged attire. We're only going to be unloading today. Now, I won't be unloading, but we will be having things unloaded. So thanks, guys, and I will talk with you guys later.
You want to put that in the ice box?
I'm going to show it to her. Hold on.
Fish.
That's a GoPro camera. That's a GoPro camera. That means you own camera.
Oh.
And you get to see, once again, like I said, last year I was walking around the fishing show, and this year I'll be hosting it.
Hey,
And
now.
before I go to the fishing show, what was more important than the fishing show was this here.
Oh, that looks good. Oh.
You got baked flounder. You can just tilt it like that. You got baked flounder. And it's easy to point. It's going to catch everything. See how that looks? And all that butter on there? Because the doctor said with your blood work that you could have anything you want. All them people up there with this diet and cholesterol medicine.
Hey.
He said your blood work was better than some young people. That you could have pizza, macaroni and cheese, hamburgers, whatever you want. You don't have to have turkey this, turkey that. That was a jive turkey telling you that.
Hey, my dear.
So yes, ma'am. It's just a blessed day that God made. 'Cause I get to come in here and see you before I run over there. Today I'm just gonna be unloading, and so I'll be also, I'll have some of my decals. And what them 3 men stand for on that logo? Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. So I have a bunch of my decals that I'll be telling everybody about the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. And I also have some of my lures that Mama, your mother, who I started fishing with, will be proud of me because I make my own lures now. I hand make those. Yes, ma'am. It's almost like you used to crochet everything and make all our clothes, because a lot of people don't know that.
She told me that.
Yeah.
She told me that.
She made every suit that we wore to church from the time we was born till we was grown and got up out of this house.
Hey,
Three-piece suits, two-piece suits.
Yeah, I seen you with your little bow tie.
Oh,
Look
yeah.
at the
Okay,
skater.
okay, you checking me out. Yes, ma'am. So, yes, ma'am. I make all of these, and I have these at the show, too.
Yeah, it's real nice.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. I'm just glad I got to share it with you right after your 97th birthday. So all of them will be looking at beautiful colors there.
Oh, yeah, those are pretty.
Yeah, man. And fish think they pretty too.
That's why
That's
they
how
go
they end
after.
up. Yeah, that's how they end up in that aluminum foil. Harold, no. Harold's on the phone with me.
You sell them yourself, don't be
Yes,
getting
well, I
that-
will
that
be
stuff.
selling them. Yes, ma'am.
Start selling yourself to have someone. give them to
Oh
them.
yeah, I make them myself, but also these things sell from anywhere from $3 to $4 to $5 a piece. You know, depending on how good they are and how well they work. But yes, ma'am. So
Crossing over again.
she doing all right. She over there keeping that little baby.
Oh, little
Yeah,
fat
that
mama,
little
little
fat
fat
mama
mama. That's what I
running the
call
roof,
her. Oh, my dear,
She in,
she a thick.
she in heaven when she keeping her. That's all she gonna do. She love that little baby. And it's good that we got her over there because she got young parents. Some young parents know what to do.
Some
these
don't.
new ones.
And some don't.
And I hooked up fishing, the hard hitter. And the hardest hitter right here, the original hard hitter, my mama. Just looking so good today, so I'm happy. They can't I share this. And I'll see you in a little bit. I'm going to go in there and warm me up something to eat because I don't have to be there until 2.
Okay.
So I got time to spend about at least 30, 40 minutes with you before I have to leave.
Okay.
All right. Love you. And downtown, baby. Georgia Brown. Guys, welcome to another episode of Hooked Up Fishing here real quick. Sitting there watching some Thomas fishing while I'm getting ready to do a few hand ties. Never done this, so I'm just going to do a little bit of that. Get the camera angle right for a minute to get a shoot of the intro. And also what I'm doing is taking some time off from fishing to get some things done around here. And one video I'm going to shoot again is a video of the kayak and some of the things that I use to keep my phone, keys, personal belongings, and stuff like that safe, especially out in the salt water where they're not getting that salt air, because a lot of your components, they'll rust in the salt air. So whenever I'm charging one of my GoPro cameras, I'll put it in this waterproof protected box from Academy, and I'll put a link. I'll start back putting different links in the videos so you'll be able to see those links. But that's about it, man. I'm going to kind of do some start and stop when I do some of the ties. So I'll just pick up on some of the intricate parts, because my ties, they're not quick, they're not fast. Every one of them's different. Every one of them's unique. And every one of them is off the top of the dome with me, with experience that I have throughout the 30, 40 years of crappie fishing and seeing it change. And I've always only fished with artificials, so my knowledge is extensive with crappie behavior and what color patterns work best, what presentation sizes work best, and all of that. So I use a lot of exotic feathers in my ties, and a lot of exotic materials, sometimes wild natural materials. Well, all of them are wild natural materials. So they don't fade, and I put a lot into the ties so they don't tear apart. So like I said in that one video, I caught over 150, maybe 175 crappie off of one hand tie, and caught a big op off of that one hand tie, and several catfish off of that one hand tie. And just a durable bait, man. And I'm going to go ahead and start putting them out here on the market. Never really had time to do any time. You know, I was taking care of Mom. It's hard for me to get into my video, sitting there watching Thomas Fish's video. He putting them crappie in the boat. Go ahead and get him a little airtime on Hooked Up Fishing. On Thomas there, man. I like watching him. Pretty cool cat. And without further ado, man, let's get in some of the ties. But it's just my method, my way, and it works for me. It's not a fast tie. They don't happen in a hurry. And this first part of it is a quail, and I'll lay that in there first sometimes and get that started and get the direction started by how I hold it to the actual hook. These steps I can vary when I include them into the tie and when I don't. This is my flash, just my straight flash. And sometimes the thing is, I have a ton of flash in my baits. And it's not cheap, but the key is to have it be successful out on the water. And I'll come in with some of mine from the bottom and some from the top and just bring them into the tie. And once I get that in there, then I'll build around it. All right, that's one of the first steps. I'll stop it right here and pick it back up in a minute. Picking back up here, you'll notice I have a little bit of that flash that's overrun over the neck here. I sometimes would take clippers and do it, but a lot of times I'll just take the thread and flatten it down on there. That way they're not around the neck, where that's real clean and neat right up in there around the collar of that hand tie. Now I'll pick back up here in a minute, once again, when I come in with another color that I feel for this tie. So what I've been having a lot of success with is the green and gold that I came up with, and I brought that bait out. Nobody was using that bait. Just on a whim from in the tie store, looking at different color patterns, I saw that and I said, well, I think that might work. And it's something different, so I incorporated it. So what I'll do here is I'll just bring on this one, I hadn't done this on any of them, I'm going to bring a little bit of that green as an accent for the top of it. I hadn't done that on that one, but I'm going to bring in a little bit of that green before the gold. Uh-oh, camera issues, sorry about that. I'm going to open back up here. Hope this is close enough and not too close. First time doing this, so it is what it is. So I'm good with that green that I brought in there, and then I'll bring my gold in. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring this gold in individually. Sometimes I bring them in as a group if they'll lay down together, but sometimes when they won't, I'll just bring them in individually, because this is actually off of a bird. Every last one of them counts. They're individual. And how I place them is different each time. So that's one of the reasons that never are the baits the same. And it gives me the ability to bring the gold in the way I want to bring it in and make it as unique as I need it to make it as unique as I need it to be. So this way of tying, I'm in control of the complete tie. Nothing is generic, so to speak. And so it's fine-tuned to exactly what I need it to be. If I want that feather to stick up a little bit, I roll it and let it stick up a little bit. If I want it to roll out or down, I roll it down. And I just bring the gold in the way I want it to be into the tie. These are not cheap generic feathers. That's why these are not cheap generic ties. And to me, it's why they work the way that they do when nothing else will. And there's why they're one of a kind hard hitter hand ties, and you're just not going to find them anywhere else. So I'm going to go ahead and pause this that YouTube stuff there, so I can get into this and fine tune this thing just the way I want it to be. So this is a customer's tie. I'm going to make sure I put a lot more into it than I would for mine. Make sure they have the success that they need to have. So I'll look at it on top side. Looks like that's enough gold. The green accent in it. It's got quail. So that's a tricolored bait already. And then I'll come in with some of my tricks to the trade. A lot of people don't use it. I do. It costs a little more, but I'll use this holographics to really bring out some serious flash in the bait. And I use the flash no matter whether it's sunny, cloudy, or whatever. I still bring that flash in. You may not see all of it. I'll bring the camera around later. That's why these are not your basic ties. And you're not going to find it anywhere. And you're just not going to outperform this bait. No matter what you do, you're not going to outperform that bait. It's just too much into it. Too hard to beat. And I'm going to make sure he gets that in 2 sizes. It's the color that's super productive. It's not a chartreuse. It's a lot of stuff. I'm not going to just reveal it because it's just not going to do it. I'll show you how I tie, but I'm not going to just hand out everything like that. Should be charging for some of this stuff like everybody else getting paid. But the main thing is to get this jig out there and let you guys see the production of it. Why it's a hard hitter hand tie and not your basic everyday generic stuff. BFI. Yo, man, over here doing some hand ties, trying to fill an order, that's all. I can't get it, man. I need my partners with all that money. I need their support, man. I need the hometown support first, then the rest of them will kick in. I can't keep depending on these people from Idaho and South Carolina and Massachusetts and, what's happening with you? I went yesterday, and yesterday was yesterday, and yesterday was the sign of the times, meaning that big hard freeze that came, all them flounder moved out with it. And while we were stuck in the house trying to hunker down from the freeze, they had a real strong outgoing tide them days, and those fish know ahead of time, way ahead of when we know a cold front is coming. So they moved, man. I fished from the ferry landing all the way to the Pelican Island Bridge, back and forth. No, that's yesterday. This video, I ain't put it out yet. That one now was a tough one too because we had a real strong outgoing tide. So what I'm doing right here, guys, after I finish that top, y'all see me bring in that green with the gold. Now I use a water-based cement and I seal that thing in to where that jig, that's why I catch almost 200 fish on one jig and you can still keep fishing with it because of what I put into it. And I put a lot of this water-based cement on there, and it's not going to come apart. Sorry, BFI, I was just finishing up that video. I'm good now. I finished the tie. All right, guys, that's the tie. That's one of the hard hitter hand ties. I'll pick the camera up, bring it in from all different angles, let you get a real good look at it. But that's what goes into a hard hitter hand tie, man. That's why they're so productive. That's why their baits works like it does. And, you know, just to get at me, because they're going on the market, man. I can't sit here and just sit on them. I'm going to go ahead and I got more time now. So now I'm going to put that time into my work, and you guys can cash in on that. They'll be on the market as of now. So all you got to do is get at the hard hitter, place your order, and I'll get them to you in the mail. Just like that. Hooked Up Fishing at hard hitter hand ties on the market later. Back up on another one. All these I was tying that night. Okay. And you can see all of the details that are in this jig, man. This is a gold with a mustard gold with quail. No peacock in this one, but a lot of flash. And I hope this comes out good like this. This is that new silver gold Chanel body that I came up with and found. It also almost gives it that green look to it, but I accented this one with also the gold and the quail and the collar, of course, with the accent around the collar of it. Shorty version of it, smaller shorty version of it. But this gives you a better look of the colors, I hope. I'm going to try this. I was just going to try to take them all out and take them out one at a time out there in the sun. But this is going, look at all of that fine detail down in the bottom here, because that's also with the gold. That's a honeybee gold, where you got a black skirt down towards the bottom of it. But that's the green and gold, okay, with the quail. That's the new gold silver Chanel that I have. And I did the same thing with the accents all down in here. Using one hand, I can't swell it up, but these are some beautiful baits, man, you know. And I'm glad I'm able to do that, little girl. Let me pause it and see if I can find some more. Y'all missed all of that tie because BFI got on the phone with me for a good little minute, and I just kept tying. Matter of fact, I think I tied another one since then. That's with the 1/16 ounce jig head. And you see I do a lot of color coordination. There's a little accent of peacock to match the body, the Chanel, and it has a real light quail feathers to where they're going to move real easy in the water. That's going to be a bait that's got a long profile but a short hook here, so that bait will attract a lot of fish just on the movement of that long streamer that tail will turn out to be, because it just gets totally different when it's wet. But that's going to be a killer bait. Color coordination is there. And like I said, all the flash in it. And they're just unique. You're just not going to find another bait like it at all, ever, anywhere. Because every one of these hard hitter hand ties is totally different. So with this, and it's having a gold in it, I'm going to come back. Which one of the ones that I started out with, which was a silver and gold. And put the silver and gold to use on this one. All of the ties are done in the direction of the thread. The same direction my thread is going, that's the direction my tie is going to be going at all times. It'll have plenty of Chanel down towards the bottom until I get up there towards the top of the jig, and then bring it and tie it in. And that's when I'm going to put a bigger collar on this one just to give it a little different flair. To actually give it more of a collar. And they're all original hand ties. All are done completely by hand. I don't use a tool on my tie. And that tie is permanent. That bait is solid. That is a great wintertime bait because of the 1/16 ounce head. It's going to fall slower. That smaller profile. Sometimes what some of the guys will do, I don't actually do it that much, but I will, is I'll come in and I'll trim that jig. But sometimes instead of wasting feathers and trimming them, I'll tie them shorter. And you see I put a lot of that water-based cement on there. The labels wore out in it, but it's the best water-based cement you can get. And this stuff, I mean, once it's there, it's there. And so what I was talking about, some will do, is they'll go right here and just trim that bait right behind the hook and take that much of that feather off to make it shorter, to make it a smaller bait, 1-inch bait, versus it being a 1.5 inch bait, which is what most of my ties will commonly be. They're mainly almost 1.5 most of the time. I don't see what that is, but usually a 1.5 inch bait most all of the times. It's just, I don't even have to measure, but you know, I had a scale of measurement, but I just know by feel from doing it. I'm always tying them 1.5. Very seldom will I tie 2. Not really necessary. I'll tie 2 sometime for white bass. If I do a white bass tie, I'll do that. But that's about it. That's just silver and gold. This customer's going to be happy because every one of these I'm tying, which all of them, my hard hitter hand ties, are super productive. And that's just another one. Get back with y'all on the next tie. Back up. That is a white and orange with quail in it. So I found some more. I'll pick back up on them here. White and orange with the quail in it. Call it orange accent in there with that quail. So this gives you, look at that. Now that's a white and purple with the white, and not as much quail, but a fur white as well. That's a really small bait, I think a 1/32. Just a super cool bait. So can I swell it up a little bit? There we go. That's a little blurry, but that's that gold in there. That new color of the body. And that's in a 1/16 ounce. Look at that jig, man. This gives you an idea of the pop that these hard hitter hand ties have, man. And that's, oh man, that's a Woolly Booger Brown, man. I've been waiting to put that thing to work. I hadn't got a chance to really pop it out. I'm gonna have to get it with a long quail tail with a lot of Woolly Booger in the fur down at the bottom. A little orange accent on that, different Woolly Booger Brown. Yeah, but that's it, man. Took off on the jig again, guys, and I forgot to start the video while I was in the middle of the tie, but I'm going to come in with a white this time, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this white. And I may do a white and a chartreuse with it. I may not. I may do an all white for him on this tie. So peacock and a white is what I'm going to look to put in there. That's been hard to find. Let's see. But I got some. And so, all right. And so, I'm going to bring the peacock with the white in there. This peacock has a black and white to it. So, that's going to be on the top side of it again. I always incorporate the darker colors on the top side, just like the fish's back. So, it's more realistic. Pull them, bring them around to the other side. And then we'll bring the white in on top. I already got the flash buried into this tie already, so the flash is already in there. I'll bring most of this white in on the bottom side of the jig and bring that into the tie. And then out of that, some more quill off to the side of it. On this side that you can't see, facing me, more of the quill. Clean that up. And this will be a good one to use my silver or my white or my smoke gray on, because it has the black and white peacock in the bottom and the quill on the underside, on the top side, and then the quill on the underside. Flash is already in there. All I have to do is come in with my holographic flash, and that tie will be done. This piece is on this side. Can't see it, but there's your holographic flash that's going to be on this side. And the holographics, I always bring it just a little bit longer than the actual feathers to give it that streamer effect. And then on the other side is where my other holographic will lay. And I make sure it lays right on the side, straight across from the other. Bring them both together where I get the same length. And then both of those holographics are there. And then, like I said, I'm going to come in with a white, all white, since it already has most of that black in there. Hold on. With my white chenille, but this chenille has a lot of flash already in the body, so that's going to help the bait out as well. And you see, I'm loving the lead head. Those fish have been reacting more to a plain head than color as of late, or maybe that's just all I'm giving them, so that's all they have to choose from. But I have the paint that I can put on the body, but I've just been choosing not to use it. So I'm going to keep the body tight on this one. I'm going to actually make the body real small to give this bait a different type of presentation. I'm going to keep it all up close. And I'll bring the body around to make it thick, but I'll keep it in tight to keep it as a short tie with not a whole lot of body. Bring in and pull that body down to cinch that tie in, and then once it's cinched in, give it a good collar, and that's going to be a beautiful color combination for that black and white hard hitter hand tie. So That color is real productive when the fish don't want to hit on anything. That natural white is a deadly, deadly bait. Just the plain white, but I throw a little accent into it, like I said, with the flash and a little bit of blackness in there to give it that full shad look. You know, a lot of times what I'll do is I'll pull up pictures of bait, see how the bait looks, and then I'll incorporate it into the tie. That's the black and white hard hitter hand tie to mimic the shad color. Plenty of that water-based cement. The tie will hold well. You won't have to worry about it ever coming apart. Up here, what I was getting at, guys, is because the picture quality wasn't that good on the coloration of the jigs, I followed up with those pictures. But also I want to just reiterate, that was 2019 when I did the fishing show at the George R. Brown Convention Center, and I just wanted to bring in some of that footage to just kind of show you guys how long I had been trying to launch, and I had to pause what I was doing to take care of my mom until she just passed here May the 9th of 2022. So when hospice, I guess, wrote her off, 4.5 years, you know, eating nothing but baked crappie plates, you know, 12 to 14 plates every week. And that's what I did. I crappie fished. I stopped my saltwater fishing, and that's all I did was supply my mom with those crappie. But now here I'm able to do hand ties with some of the material that she had in the house after I got through going through everything in the house, and also come back and let you guys know that what I was starting and showing her when I was showing her that I was going to the George R. Brown and everything was finna launch, I'm now able to follow up. That's why patience is a virtue. And like I said, that footage is not coming out like I wanted it to. So I popped in and said, hey, look, let me just get some of these pictures. I hope this is not a battery problem. No. And bring the lighting in up on it. And that way you're able to see some of these colors that's in these jigs. Stop barking. So there we go. Stop barking. It's got a pee-pee. Look at that orange, man. Well, look at all those orange streamers in the bottom of that. So it's just man, just not gonna find this kind of work anywhere, you know. No sense me being humble about it. It's just the best hand ties you're gonna get, hands down, man. A lot of people all over the world have watched for you, and that's a brighter orange with more orange and less white. Stop barking. Stop barking. I'm gonna let you outside. You better not go out there barking at no firecrackers. No barking. No barking. Okay, I'm going to jump in here with another color. I already got it in mind, so I won't be fumbling around as much. I'm going to go with an orange. So I know what I'm going to do since I'm going with an orange. Alright, let's get this one going now. A lot of times what I'll do to cinch that thread on in, I'll come in and I'll touch off on the shaft. I'll start it off with a little bit on there, and where that thread I want to lay to it. But like I said, I know I'm going with the orange, but a lot of times I'll incorporate the quill in there first to give it a base. Just my way of doing a tie. To me, it accents the orange, gives it a base to come off of. And that works for me. Okay. I actually have two different types of oranges I'll come with. And I'll bring this one in instead of all individually. I know I'm going with the orange. I'll bring more of it in at once. And I'll actually shorten it from the beginning because I want it to be a shorter tie. Smaller profile in the winter seems to work a whole lot better. Coming with that orange. A lighter orange that has streamers. I'll shorten it as well. This will be plenty as far as the flash. What I don't want sticking up, I'll pull down. I'm going to bring that flash down a little bit longer in this tie. The feathers out of it. And then I want this one to have more of a fur belly to it. So I'm going to come in with this white feather and take most all of it that I can use and tie it into the belly side of it, which is the underneath, which looks like the top when I'm first tying it, but this is actually the underside of the jig. So that's what I'm going to do with that one. Bring that in over the top of the flash. And then, like I said, I'm going to use all of it. Put a good bit of it into this tie. Give that tie a lot of body. Give it a lot of different colors into that with that orange. So it'll have an orange and white type effect, but the orange still in the body. Just makes a killer bait. And all of this is, like I said, I just come up with this as I go. And so it just works. It flows just like I flow when I'm out there. Just go with it. And it works. Because I already know what they like, know what they want, and I just give it to them. That's simple. Make them eat. Or hit a style. It should be enough for the other side. Perfect. Oh, don't try to move on me. If it is a little long, catch it and clip it. And then but a little tip was left. A little bit there, nothing, but still I want it perfect. And then I got some real nice orange that I like to incorporate, so hold on a minute. Orange. Pour that orange on into the tie. The string on around in it. Give it a little bit of a collar. Real hard hitter hand tie, man. Play no games. Not with this. Deadly color combinations, man. Baits. One of a kind. Not just gonna have two the same no matter what. They're all gonna produce. Because you keep showing that fish something different. No two baits are alike. No two parts of the quail feathers or peacock feathers or Chanel are the same. They're all exotic, they're all different, and they're hard hitter hand ties. They're durable. They catch fish after fish after fish. Don't fade because of the exotic feathers. Don't come apart because of all what I tie into the tie. They don't come apart. As long as you don't grab them with needle nose pliers when you're trying to get them out of the fish, learn how to stick your finger in there and pop it out of it. But if you go to grabbing the Chanel and all around the tail with the needle nose, you're going to tear the bait up. And then don't come calling me talking about, oh, the bait tore up. Well, you tore it up, you know. If you can't pop it out of the fish's mouth, get some of those things that got a little fork and it push back against this while you hold the line. You push back against the shank of the hook and you pop the jig out of the crappie's mouth. Because if it's a hard hitter hand tie, they're going to eat it. But that's that orange and white. Sometimes I've got solid orange, but I just incorporate that white in there with the solid orange. And it gives it that little flash and that flavor that I like, man. Hard hitter hand ties, man. Real deal Holyfield. Last so long you think they're made of steel. And then them crappie bite that wheel. Just like it was a crappie candy peel. And that's what the deal is, baby. I mean, just super baits, man. Just like that. The toaster oven. Okay. Silver and gold with a lot of quail, a lot of flash. These baits just jump off, man. Look at that orange and green with a lot of quail in it. It's unique ties, man. Nothing like them. Start the new year off with letting you guys see what the real deal is. This is the real deal in a hand tie, man. That mustard with that white quail. Mustard with a little black and white with a lot of quail in it. Different tie. Same color pattern, just a little bit different in the tail a lot of peacock in this one. There's a green with a lot of white and no gold. Different ways to do these jigs, man. You got the weed guard that I tie into there. Nobody ties the weed guards like I do. That one has a lot of green in there with that white and little red streamers. So that's a tricolored bait in the tail. Those red streamers, man, just gives that bait that little pop down there. There's a good picture of it, man. Look at those red streamers coming off of that bait. Just unique, man. These ties are just unique. You're not going to find it anywhere. There's a little something there. That's a bright, bright brown orange. And that light blue and white, man, like a teal blue. I think that's going to be an awesome bait too. Color they never seen with the teal blue peacock and also the white quail with a lot of accent in the feathers. I think it's going to be a real deadly bait. And in all white in a real small presentation, that's going to be a killer bait as well. A lot of detail in that bait. It's got quail, then it's got peacock, then it's got the white accent feathers. Just a beautiful bait, man. So much detail. That's what makes these hard hitter hand ties one of a kind. Not gonna find. They'll blow your mind all the time. With them gangster rhymes. You know what I'm saying? Hooked up fishing, man. A hard hitter chilling. Getting ready to eat. I post this stuff for the new year. Starting it off with the business. About my business, man. And you know this, man. Later. I do an orange and white, guys. I'm gonna come with a lighter jig, 1/16 ounce instead of the 1/8 that I just tied with the orange. This is gonna be a 1/16 in the orange, but to change it up, like I say I always do with a hard hitter hand tie, it's gonna be an orange and chartreuse instead of an orange and white, or mainly all orange. So what I'll do with it the same way to make it a little different. I won't have as much of the quail. I'll have a little bit of quail, but not as much. And since it's a shorter bait, I'm going to shorten it a whole lot since it's a 1/16 ounce tie. So what I'll do with it is just shorten the tie completely. Plenty of that water base in the base of that tie. Let me turn this TV down. Let me get back to the tie, y'all. So like I said, I'm going to shorten it a little bit. So I'll come in, see about where I want it to fall, and then take just a little bit off of it, off the tip of it here. Shorten that bait. This is going to be the base anyway. I'm going to let those feathers just do what they want right there. Then I'm going to come back with the chartreuse, and then I'll probably incorporate the flash over the chartreuse on this one instead of underneath. And I'll give it quite a bit of chartreuse this time and have it about the same length as the quail. And I'll just wrap it around a little more to give it coverage. I'll let all that fur go around the shank, and that way when I make a real loose tie, it pulls it, and then it's all over and covering that white. I'll pull some off, whatever comes off, I tie it back in, tie it back in. Any ones that come off, I just tie them back in. It's like so. When they come off, at least I get them. Just pull them and tie them back in. And then give it a good once over to make sure it's where I want it. And then lay it down some. To me, that may be enough of the chartreuse. I could put a little more. Just a little bit of a different type of it. The more hair type of the chartreuse. Just on this top side over here where you guys can't see, where I could actually see a little bit more of that white. So that's enough of my chartreuse. I got it pretty much where I want it. Now I can come back in. And sometimes when they get uneven like that, I'll just clip them or I'll pull them up to where they're all even. That way I'm not wasting any. Some of the ones that are shorter, I pull them all up, and then I'm able to go in and start tying them in. I can tie them in on the sides, on the top side, on the bottom side, here again, a little bit on the top side, and tie that flash in all over that jig like that. And then it's got plenty of flash to it. Come in, pull them tight. I'm going to bring them a little bit shorter than the tail. So I'll bring them away from the tail, about the length of the tail, and I'll make them just a little shorter. That way the tail protrudes past the flash. There's one that didn't hold. So I need to tie it in. I'll come back and clip it. But I'll cut them a little shorter, just to have the flash shorter than the actual tail. If I can get the tails to stay out of the way here. They're all over the place. But I can miss them. So they're a little shorter. That's plenty in there. Come back to where this one is protruding out. Clip it. Clip it instead of folding it back. Come back with my holographic flash. Stuff is just super cool, man. Gives that bait that added pop. And that orange chartreuse is deadly. I actually got that from a guide. Forget his name, but I met him on Lake Houston years ago. And he guides on Conroe. I wish I knew his name. I love giving out credit to who really turned me on to that. He calls it Joe Dirt. He's a real nice guy, man. Big boat with big monitors on there. He had live scope and actually showed me brush piles that I know now on Lake Houston. Years ago he showed them to me. But this is a Joe Dirt, basically, in a tie. And I still like to do the same thing. I still like to come in and incorporate underneath some of the white side of the belly. So that's what you'll see me do on these ties like this, is put just my little twitch in it. You know, my little own what I like to do. So I'll come in and instead of it just being a straight up Joe Dirt, I'll throw a little bit of that in there and then come with the orange. And since, like I said, this is a smaller tie, I won't have as much Chanel body on it. I'll actually shorten that down too. Deadly bait, deadly color combination. Actually got it from another guy, but it was one of his favorite colors on Conroe when he said nothing else will work. He brings this out. So I'll build it up as I go with the Chanel, and I won't bring it into the head until I'm on the final wrap of it, and then tie it in after I pull a little bit of the streamers off and some of the thread is showing. That way I could grab just the thread, cinch the thread on in to have it a clean tie. Three wraps for the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. And that bait is done, man. That little accent of that white coming out of the back of it, it's just like a teaser to them crappie, man. They just can't stand some of them enhancements I put on these baits. And these things, crappie go crazy for them, because you're not going to see another one like it. Them birds are not for you to eat. You know, you smell them live birds, you can't get up there and get none of that. Sit down. You need a haircut anyway. You want to take a bath? But you don't like that? You want to take a bath? Y'all up on me. You take a bath. I know, Daddy busy. Got time to play with you. All right, and don't want to be forgotten. Don't get up there. Get down. Good boy. Top dollar with the gold flea collar. I want to get in on the airtime. Okay, another color that's hot I want to tie for him is my silvers, and then I'll be done. So the next bait will be a heavy bait, because I got 4/16, and he wants 5. So the rest of them will be in a silver, I think. So I'll get ready to do him a silver. That's the white with the black peacock, or black and white peacock and quail with all the flash in it. So that's a real productive bait right there. Natural presentation, and a small 1/16 ounce. Great for the winter time on a small fall. So that's another one he'll have. Okay, the last one, guys, is going to be a chartreuse and white. Basically a green and white, not much of a chartreuse to it. But this is a color that Mike told me about. Showed me a picture of it. I liked it when I saw it. So I'm actually going to finalize the tie session with this one tie. I didn't get all of the first beginning of it. But I got a lot of quail in it, a lot of white, a lot of flash, and of course the saltwater holographics. And that'll be the final tie for this guy's order. And This one is one that I haven't really personally used myself on Conroe yet. Mike had a lot of success with it. I just haven't used it just yet. But because Mike had success with it, and the guy that I'm tying this order for at least, does fish Lake Conroe, I'm going to go ahead and include this in his order, because I know Mike is a guy that I can depend on. If he tells me something, it's 100% the truth. So that's a true friend. I know I could count on. His word is his bond for sure. You know, and that's what you could get with the hard hitter. My word is my bond. If I tell you something, that's what it is, 100%. That's why I share everything. Don't hide anything. There's no sugarcoating it. No cosmetics. No stars, stripes, and banners and flashing lights and all of that. Is just straight up real, just like me. And that's what thing you can base your life on. Everybody's word is their bond. If they can't stand on their word, there is no bond. So that's why these hard hitter hand ties are bonded so good with this last part of the tie that I'm putting on it, guys. The water-based cement, that is the bond. And that's one thing you'll get with the hard hitter is true bond, man. That somebody's going to give you 100% of his word being his bond all the time, every time. And that's on the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit right there. It's the last of that tie. I may tie a little bit for myself because I just like to. It's relaxing, but I may just chill out the rest of the day. Rest myself after that rough day of flounder fishing where I only got one fish, and that was a real nice redfish that I gave to a guy on the bank. But that's the green and white. It's the opposite of the chartreuse tail and white body that Mike talked about, but I think that's going to be a really, really productive tie. So that's his last tie. And that's it for the session, man. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys like, share, hit that like button. If you view the footage, if you don't mind, hit the thumbs up. And then also, if you don't mind, if you have a friend, just share it with them. You know, I'm trying to grow the channel naturally. And place your orders, man. A.B. Williams 00791 at gmail.com. A.B. Williams 00791 at gmail.com. Place your order for your hard hitter hand ties. Support small business, building it back up 1 jig at a time. Thanks again for watching, man. I'm going to stop rambling right here and get with you guys on the next episode when I get on some fish. You know what I mean, Jelly Bean? Later. Okay, guys, I'm back to add a little bit of bonus footage in to introduce you all to the first ever and the first only creature bait line created by me. Okay? I am the first person to ever incorporate plastic and feather in a tie. And I did it with my creature bait line here. I'm going to try to get up in here and get a little bit of extra footage of that bait. But that's one of them where you have your plastic incorporated into a feather hand tie. And this one is really, really got a lot going on, man. I got your orange streamers, your white fur, your orange body, your green and red head. And I mean, it is decked out. So that's an introduction to the one and only, the first ever to do this creature bait line. And I had a few, comments to where people said, hey man, make sure you get a patent and all of this. But it's live here on YouTube. I am the first to do it. And so everybody knows where it came from. Now, if somebody wants to go and try to take it and run with it, I mean, come on, man. God ain't going to bless you with that. But look at that, man. It's got all this green accent under the bottom here. of your peacock, covering that hook just a little bit, and a lot more green under the, which will be the top side of it. And then this is the bottom side. That thing's got a lot going on, man. I'm not sure if that lighting's going to do it all the justice. But, yeah, hard hitter creature bait line, man. One of a kind bait. Not going to find this anywhere else. I am the orchestrator and originator of this, man. And I have a few other types. I'm going to break out a couple of them here. But it's a basic. It's got a real big paddle tail. See, this will be great for your white bass. And I got it weedless. So that bait is Wicked Buddha Baby too, man. Just the perfect color combination. Simple, white body, black and white, you know, quail and peacock. And then, of course, your flash, you know. So let me go, without any further ado, break out another one of these Wicked Buddha Baby colors. Some of them are your big 2-inch, like I said, for the white bass. And some are some stubby and small ones for your crappie. Even though they're creature bait line, I got them in different sizes. So this is a smaller version, kind of in that same family of color as that one I just showed you, but with less of the color accent, with a big paddle tail as well. So it's got a 1/16 ounce head. It'll drop real slow for those crappie that want to hit it on the fall, and that paddle tail in the back to give it a lot of action when it does fall. And then to get one more here, to show you a real bigger bait that'll really do good for those walleye guys up north. Look at that bait, man. Real big paddle tail, real big body, real good color variation, big 1/8 ounce jig head. Just the super, and the red streamers on the side, that accent is just, that's just it, man. The 2 streamers on the outside are red. Super cool bait. And one last bait I'll show you guys. And like I said, first ever to incorporate plastic in a feather hand tie. Just the way I work, man. God bless me with that noggin I got up there, man, and I'm always thinking outside the box. And I had to have that because I was having trouble with getting crappie to react. Came back with that. Look at that head on that little small 1/32 ounce head. So that bait will fall super slow. Big paddle tail, a lot of skirt. Get a lot of aggressive strikes with a bait like that. The green streamers here, the peacock on it. The white on the other side to give it a 3D dimensional type look. Just a great little shot, guys, of the creature bait line that I am the sole and only sole person to ever come up with this. And so they will be soon on the market as well, the creature bait line. Somebody asked me to do a video on tying them. I won't be doing that for sure right away, but the creature bait line will be on the market here real soon. All right, so I'll get the finishing up of this video, get everything posted so I can get this out there to you guys, and y'all can hit me up and get your orders in, man. They're all mail orders. Doesn't matter how you do it, whether it be PayPal, Cash App, or Zelle. Get your stuff out in the mail real quick. The customer's order right here. It's already ready to go. As long as it's under about 20 jigs, it'll only cost me $5 to $6 with this envelope to mail it, because I have to have it in these padded envelopes with that lead head. And this customer just chose to mail his payment in. And as soon as his mail came today, his package is going out in the morning. All right? Thanks for watching. Like, subscriptions, comments, and I'll be coming back to close this thing in a minute. All right. Surprise, surprise, surprise. Right before your eyes. A lot of this stuff I don't want, but boom. Know that color? Know that symbol? And there she blows. 2018 Hobie Cat Pro Angler 14. I don't like these. I don't know if I like that. We will have to see. I don't know if it'll be fast as my other one. But never had a fish on it. Been in the water 5 times. Thank you, Vu. All the tags and decals and stickers are still in place. And the hard hitter is back in action. Very clean, beautiful kayak. Hardly any scratches. Never been, the bottom of the hull has never been on the ground at all. But except for a little rolling cart that he had it on. But yeah, man. Hooked up fishing. Back in the saddle. The saga continues. I also want to sell this. If somebody will give me the factory deal, and I'll price this thing. It's only been in the water 5 times. This is a brand new water snake, saltwater water snake. So I'll go in there and price it. Probably take $100 off. So this thing here is tight. Does it go there? But at any rate,